Hi, everybody. Welcome to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. We are here today with our free Friday book reviews that AMIRA, LOUTFI, and I do every week. She's the review editor for MetaStellar. For those who don't know, MetaStellar is an online magazine of speculative fiction, and all the content is always free for our readers. We publish original fiction, reprints, excerpts, essays, and lots of book reviews like these. And the link to the article with today's book reviews is going to be in the description below. We are able to do this and keep all our content free thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters. And if you don't want to miss any of the videos in this series, please hit subscribe and the like button and all that other stuff. Okay, so today's list includes time travel, space exploration, vampires, shapeshifters, and a sexy post-apocalyptic biker gang. Okay, why not? All right. We're gonna try to be a little faster this week, because last few weeks we've kind of meandered around when we were reviewing these books. Well, let's try to get a little snappier this time around. All right, and I'm a big offender, I know that. All right, so let's start with the first one, Fire Ant by Jonathan Brazee, or Brazee. This is the first book in the 5-book The Navy of Humanity series of military sci-fi. Other books are $4 each. They're all in Kindle Unlimited, which I like. Kindle Unlimited, you can read as many books as you want for $10 a month, and it's a fantastic deal because I read a lot. So what happens in this book is Beth, I guess that's the woman on the cover, is recruited into a space navy after she discovers aliens while on an exploratory flight to a new solar system for a private company. This is great for people who like military sci-fi. Like me, I love military sci-fi. And the cool thing is that the author himself has actual military experience. So always nice to, read something from somebody who knows what he's talking about. Odds of me reading it, 95%. Also, this novella won an honorable mention for a Nebula a couple of years back, and it starts a little slow, but I'm going to give it a shot, and it's definitely readable and enjoyable. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is From the Ashes by Lynn Natusch. And this is the first book in the 5-book Force of Nature series of paranormal romance. The rest of the books are $4 to $5 each, and they are all in Kindle Unlimited. And AMIRA read this one. What did you think?
Yes, I did. So there were some parts I liked and some parts I didn't. So the main premise is that we have Piper. She's a young woman. She's a social reject. Her whole life she's been hated by everyone. Never fit in at school. She then found out that she has magical powers, and there's a whole paranormal community that she could join. But it turns out that all the paranormals hate her too. And it's because, yeah, and it's something to do with her magical powers, which I'm guessing, we don't know what it is yet. In like the beginning of the book, they don't reveal like exactly what it is she can do, but I'm guessing she can read minds, because I could imagine that being offensive, right? So she's rejected by basically everyone except for a vampire coven in Manhattan. It is fancy and rambunctious, and her housemates like to go out and drink beer. They like to get drunk. They also like to, drink blood. And they bring her along with them every once in a while. And I would recommend this if you enjoy urban fantasy with a house full of handsome paranormal men, mystery, and suspense. So yeah, also, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of magical power she has that turns her into such a pariah. So the odds I'll be back are pretty high.
All right. Okay, so let's see what's next. Forged in Dreams and Magic by Bastion. Here we go with the cover. And you read this one as well.
Yeah. So this one is definitely more mature than the last one I read. It is about a professor who works at UCLA as an archaeologist, and she is really passionate about her career. She finds she travels in time and falls in love with two men from Scotland from different time periods. So there's also a lot of fiery sex scenes in this book. So I would recommend it to anyone who wants to see this career woman. She's a passionate career woman, and it's really exciting and really cute, like how she is about her career. You see her transform from a career woman into a passionate lover. So so I'd recommend that for people who like that idea or that concept.
All right. Let's see. The next one was Uff. Here it is. Let's make the cover a little bit bigger. It's by Strobe Witherspoon. I actually reviewed this book back in July. It's a dystopian satire that's first released in 2013 and is back on the bestseller list. And it was best of the year selection from Kirkus Reviews back then. And it was on this list in July, and I reviewed the book then. And it's a satirical novel about a writer who writes a satirical novel about a memoir from the first lady who's extremely similar to Melania Trump. So it's like a meta story, and it's a good book for people who like satire and who are into the whole meta thing. I don't see what the sci-fi element is though. I didn't get too far into the book. It has a really weird writing style, and it's bits and pieces, and some of it is obviously it's fictional because it's all a fictional book, but like some of it pretends to be real and some of it pretends to be fictional about it's really messy, kind of like an Inception kind of thing. So if you're in the mood for a book that's kind of like a puzzle, this is that book. Like I said, I don't see what the sci-fi element is. I have not gone back and finished reading this book, so I really doubt that I will at this point. And let's see, the next book was The Space Between Thought, which I also read. Let me pull that. Here it is. Here's the cover. And let me make it a little bit bigger for you. So this is a standalone time travel thriller. And it's a story about a technology executive who makes virtual reality games. His girlfriend is murdered. He has to use time travel to figure out what's going on. So it's a little bit of a thriller with a time travel element set kind of in the present day. There's some pretty cool virtual reality technology in there if you're into that kind of thing. Odds of me reading it, very low, less than 10%. It starts slow, and the main character is a little douchey. He wants to cheat on his girlfriend. He lies to the public about his company. So I'm like, oh God, this dude is the worst. But sometimes you like a anti-hero, and it's got a mystery plot and cool tech in it. So I'm kind of tempted, but I'm not in the mood for douchey guys. Not this weekend. Maybe some other time. All right. So the next one was Beyond the Veil. Oh, I did this one too. Let's make that a little bigger so you guys can see that. And it is a box set, and it's not a box set of 5 books in a series. It is a box set of the first book of 5 different series by the same author. And they're all urban fantasy novels. And some of these have like 3 books in a series. Some have like more than 5 or 6 or 8 books in a series. So if you want to find out if you're going to like reading the whole series, check out the first book. they are not in Kindle Unlimited, so you have to pay for them, and they're roughly around $4 each. The first book is Crescent Calling. It's about an Australian woman who's never known her mother. Her mother abandoned her when she was 2. And then one day, after her boyfriend dumps her and she's laid off at work, she gets a lawyer shows up. Her mother has died, and her mother left her house in Ireland and a bunch of money. And in order to get the money, she has to go live in that house. And I have heard this premise several times before. You know, you inherit some money, but in order to get the inheritance, you have to go live in this creepy house. And so she's going to discover some magical powers, and she's going to have some kind of job defending magic against the darkness. It starts really slowly, and the premise, I've seen it before. It's not a particularly exciting book. I'm not going to finish it. And because the rest of the books cost money, I'm probably not going to read the rest of the books by the author as well. But if you like more kind of thoughtful, slow-paced books about strong female protagonists with magical powers, check this out. And the next one is Phase Deception by Lynn. Here's the cover, so you can see that. And I think that Amira, you read this one.
Yes, I did.
And what did you think?
I'm probably not going to be back to finish it. I might, just out of curiosity, because it was so strange. So this book has very strong fantasy vibes and fantasy politics. There's an impending war between Fae kingdoms. There's a queen who's partnered up with this usurper king. And then there's a regular teenage girl who is kidnapped by a Fae prince, a very handsome Fae prince, and brought into this, this world, right? And I would recommend it if you enjoy just first the vibe, right? The fantasy milieu, I guess. And then if you're also into odd social structures and odd characters. And by that, I mean there is a princess who has to become a servant when she turns 18 because she's not magical, and she really wants to be a servant.
Okay, that's weird. So this is like fantasy, not urban fantasy.
Yeah, and the protagonist is a regular teenage girl, I think from our time period, who is pulled into it. So it's definitely like kind of a young adult kind of.
So is it like a Narnia kind of situation?
Yeah, Narnia.
Okay.
Yeah. Although it's a bit of a wardrobe, it's a handsome Fae prince.
All right. So let's see. The next one is Lawless. I read this one. Let me make that a little bigger. And it's by Crystal Ash, and it's the first book in the 10-book Steel Demons Motorcycle Club series. It's set in a post-apocalyptic future. It's like a Handmaid's Tale kind of future where women don't have any rights, and they're being raped all over the place and treated as slaves, and and everything. And the main protagonist, she's a nurse, and the day she graduated, got her degree, she's like in a part of Texas, and there's civil wars going on everywhere, and they passed a law that women can no longer practice medicine. So she goes on the road. She wants to go to Canada. This is set in the year 2100, so it's about 80 years in the future, but it kind of feels like modern day. Like I haven't, like in the first few chapters, I didn't see any modern technology. So anyway, so she's going up north to Canada, and she picks up odd jobs along the way, like waitressing, and she gives out, does a little bit of medical stuff, she can't call herself a nurse. She calls herself a medic. And she like, gives birth control to prostitutes and, sews up, minor things, that kind of thing. And so she's staying in this place and for a few days. She's waitressing. It's a hotel, there's a restaurant in it, and the motorcycle gang shows up. And so the people in the motorcycle gang are extremely handsome. The head of the motorcycle gang is extremely handsome, and another guy in the motorcycle gang is extremely handsome. And this is billed as a reverse harem romance. So she's gonna have boyfriends, and she's gonna have lots of boyfriends in this book. And it starts right in with the sex, debauchery, three ways, all that stuff. Right from the beginning, it's gonna be a lot of sex. There isn't much of a plot other than the romance and the sex. So just keep that in mind, that this isn't quite like The Handmaid's Tale. This is just like raunchy sex right from the beginning. So if you're in the mood for that, this is a great book for you. All the books are in Kindle Unlimited, and there's 10 of them. So if you like this kind of thing, you're gonna be very, very happy. I'm not so much in the mood for that. So the odds of me reading this book are extremely low. I mean, never say never. I mean, who knows what kind of mood I'll be in tomorrow? And it is a very sexy book. But right now I'm thinking I'm gonna go back with the space pilot and the aliens.
Fire ant, you mean?
The fire ant, yeah.
Fire
with the aliens and the space pilot. All right, so the next book is Hidden Moon. Let me make that a little bigger so you guys can see that. Here's the picture. It's by K.R. Thompson, and it's what is it? Young adult paranormal romance. It's a first book in a 9-book series. The other books are $3 to $4 each, and they're all in Kindle Unlimited. And Amira, you read this. What did you think?
I think it's kind of awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me a lot of Twilight, even though I didn't really enjoy Twilight that much. So the premise is kind of cozy. Nikki and her family, she's a teenage girl. They inherit a spooky house from her grandmother in the sleepy town of Bland, Virginia, and it's called Bland for a reason. It's kind of a boring place. Then Nikki finds out that there are shapeshifters and vampires lurking around, and her house is like, her backyard is right on the edge of a territory that belongs to a dangerous shapeshifter. And so one of the first things that happens is that she is very close to just getting attacked by him. And then, I'm not going to give away what actually happens. There's some suspense there, so I enjoyed it. And what else? Oh, and the second big thing about this book, she finds out that she is integral to a century-old legend.
Yeah, a lot big with Twilight vibes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I recommend it if you like Twilight. I think the odds I'll come back are pretty good. I might actually come back.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last book that we have today is this book, Paper Dragon by Coralie Moss. It's the first book in the 3-book Shifters in the Underlands urban fantasy series. The other 2 books are $5 each, and they are not in Kindle Unlimited. And Amira, you read this book. What did you think?
I think it's really interesting. I'm not sure if it's mainly a fantasy or not. And that is something really intriguing to me about it. The main character is a dragon shifter. He's also a hacker. He can develop, apps for augmented reality glasses, and that I'm kind of into that. And yeah, and so okay, so I have a question for you. I've I think it's uncommon for a hacker to be like the main character in a romance. Is that uncommon or what? What do
I
you
don't
think?
know. I'm trying to like think about um romances that I've read. Yeah, no,
And history.
there's computer guy romances, usually like executives of firms, who have like
Uh-huh.
lots of money and do not
Mhm.
look like Zuckerberg, but are inexplicably handsome. Um, but yeah, typically they're
Yeah.
nerds. Yeah.
I feel like this character is kind of a nerd. Um, so yeah, so I feel like this book seems kind of unique, like to me, but it could be that I'm just not well read enough to tell. Leave it in the comments if you know of another book like this. It is a YouTube show after all.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so Drake is his name is Jake. He's a dragon shifter. He has a problem though. He cannot sprout wings. Um, and he has a lot, and that's one of the plot threads.
Mhm.
He wants to become a better dragon shifter and be able to sprout wings, and his parents tell him the only way that's going to happen is if he finds himself a mate. So he has to find a mate to become a fully functioning dragon, and I mean scare quotes when I do that.
Mhm.
And the second thing is that he wants to find his biological parents and figure out what happened to him when he was a child.
Okay.
So I like Jake. I think he's an interesting character, and the odds I'll be back are also pretty high.
All right. All right, so that is today's top 10 books on Amazon's free science fiction and fantasy list. So again, all these books are completely free. So go grab them because they might not be free for long. And if you like this kind of content, please support our channel. And I want to thank our Patreon supporters. Thanks to you, this is all possible. So thanks, guys. And Amira, have a great weekend. See you next Friday.
All right. Bye.